relax, the jumps, the kicks. B-ball, hardball, softball sticks, the blood, the sweat, the art, the smart, the brains, the boss, the soul and heart. News and views, scores and scores. Legends, losers, rivals, myths, the balls, the victories, and the hits. Introducing college sports television. Never before have so many college sports been jammed into one network. College sports television, #1 in college sports.
The USCHO Game of the Week is the first ever national internet broadcast for women's college hockey. It is also individually funded. That's why the Game of the Week needs your support to maintain and expand its coverage. For more information on how to contribute, please call 212-933-0652 or send an email to uschoBroadcast@yahoo.com. That's 212-933-0652 or uschoBroadcast@yahoo.com.
Saturday night in Duluth, Minnesota. The thermometer says about 20 degrees below zero, but inside the Duluth Entertainment and Convention Center, a top-flight matchup between the two top teams in the WCHA at the present time, defending national champion Wisconsin and the host team, an ailing but surging Minnesota-Duluth squad, which took another point off the defending NCAA champs a night ago, scoring a goal in the final minute of regulation to salvage a 1-1 tie. The team's rematch here on senior night at the deck on the USCHO Game of the Week. Good evening, everyone. So glad you could join us. Apologies for the technical difficulties on the video side. We're working on those, see if we can get them straightened out for you. I'm Brian Schultz. She is former Harvard captain and Duluth native Angie Francisco. And Angie, this has been a nip-tuck battle seemingly since the inception of the rivalry, but this year taking it to a whole new level. UMD 2-0, Wisconsin 1-0, last night 1-1. Give me some impressions from last night's matchup.
Well, I'm very excited to be here, and after last night's game, even more excited. I mean, this Noemi Martin's goal, last minute of play, had this place rocking. Good crowd on hand, lots of enthusiasm from both sides. Looking at the box score, you might see the Badgers severely outshooting the Bulldogs, and I think that was a little bit misleading. As far as the shot attempts by the Bulldogs, they actually had about 45 shot attempts, but the Badgers did a good job of keeping the shots from outside and blocking them, so it should be a good one.
Wisconsin UMD, pause for the national anthem. Straight to the national anthem, die away, and we're about set for hockey here on this Saturday. Mentioned it is ice cold in Minnesota this weekend. Temperatures below zero, but these two teams had a great rivalry. And Angie, let's talk about this Minnesota-Duluth team. Perhaps counter to what we've seen the last couple of years. This is a team that is beat up. They are banged up, but they're also on a 10-game unbeaten streak. How have they been able to put together a hot stretch in spite of the adversity?
Well, I think they've been getting some great leadership from their seniors. Here we are on senior night. Seniors have been playing well, really stepping up, and they've also been getting great goaltending. Last night, Kim Martin was it about 34 saves, only allowing 1 goal. Played strong, played steady, and she was, as Mark Jansen's quote in the paper today, she was the X factor in that game last night.
Rita Schäuble getting the start on senior night. On the flip side, Badgers not too shabby of their own. 14-game unbeaten streak now, even with the tie last night and rolling along. Just 1 defeat, that at the hands of UMD. You've seen Wisconsin on several occasions. Your impressions of how they played, even in only scoring the 1 goal a night ago?
Well, I think it's just a classic Wisconsin game. I mean, just strong, steady from start to finish. Nothing too flashy. Just great competitors throughout the game. And, I know that they weren't too happy. They thought they were going to get out of here with a win. UMD, obviously, a competitive hockey team, but, it was one of those where a tie was a win for them last night. So.
Rematch bout set. Rita Schäuble against Christine Dufour in nets. Badgers in the road reds with the white lettering. UMD, in the course of the home whites with the maroon shoulders, maroon pants, and gold mixed in there as well. Right off the draw comes Jasmine Giles with an angled wrist shot. Paddle down, stick save for Rita Schäuble. Into the game early here on senior night is the senior netminder and All-American goaltender out of Switzerland. Noemi Martin, the team's captain, wraps it far side, and Jamie Rasmussen sends it around the wall. And Ellen Homelove, who's been bothered by back problems really since the offseason, but back in the lineup this weekend. Talking the neutral zone, rolling back to the UMD end. Homelove tracking it there on the far side. Giles monitoring a step behind. Rotated over to Noemi Martin. Martin through center. Gains the red line and dumps in before heading off for fresh lines. Alicia Matthews up the right wing side. Couldn't clear by Karin DeMule. DeMule, a player who has stepped up in recent weeks with the onset of the injuries. DeMule with a career best 10 goals on the season. Lead pass through center. Here comes Kyla Sanders, a Florida native. Lost her edge in the high slot from a sharp angle. It's batted toward the net. Schäuble had the near post shut off. And Emmanuel Blais on the right wing side. Cuts now to the middle. Gains the center ice insignia. Flops it over to Sarah Tuomanen. Tuomanen has a player in front on the redirect. And Dufour makes her first save in fine fashion. Bouncing puck on the near side, gathered by the Badgers' Tia Hansen, the hero of last year's NCAA quarterfinal and semifinal, as Blais takes a hack at one from between the circles and puts it high out of play.
Well, just 2 shots on net here, one for each team, and they've actually both been good scoring opportunities. I think one of the keys for Rita Schäuble in net is to get a couple good saves early. She's gotten into trouble a couple times this year where the other team has gotten just a couple shots on net, and unfortunately for her and the Bulldogs, they found the back of the net. But if she gets a couple good saves here, she'll be right on.
She's got a good one there as Janelle Zog, always dangerous with a puck on her forehand, rockets one in from a sharp angle, and Schäuble swallows it up to get the first appearance of Wisconsin's top line, featuring reigning Kazmaier Award winner Sarah Bauer, between the junior Zog and the freshman Megan Duggan.
We saw a lot of that line last night. They seemed to be all over the ice. Seemed like every time you looked up, Bauer had the puck, Zog was going to the net, and Dugan was a threat as well.
And they've got Bobby Jo Sluicer, the reigning All-American and All-America candidate this year, Megan Mickelson, paired together on defense for the moment. So a formidable fivesome out there for the defending national champions as Zog handles it on the near side in the neutral zone. Pushing to Bauer. Bauer trying to center. Tipped away by a defender. And here's Alonso in transition up the left wing side with Marin streaking to the front. Alonso trying to center. Rotating back with Sluicer to take it off the shin pads. And it winds up behind the net of Christine Dufour. 2 minutes gone in the first. Still no score. Wisconsin and Minnesota-Duluth here at the deck. Mickelson on the far side has Zog ahead. Headmans to the junior. And Zog will flop it in from long range before heading to the bench. Schäuble stops for Haiti Peltry. Finnish national teamer, just got back in the lineup a week ago. Actually suffered an injury scare against Ohio State. Thought her arm might be broken, was rushed to the hospital, but no harm done, and she's right back out there this weekend. Miriam Trepanier at center, trying to push it over the line. Taken, though, by Phoebe Monteleone. Dropped back to Alicia Matthews, and Matthews bumps it off the left wing side, where it's hacked down deep. And Sarah Murray will give chase along with Monteleone down deep in the corner of the UMD end. Puck skips back down the ice, and Wisconsin native Rachel Bible will have to patrol back to play it. Subi Vacker playing up front because of the shortage of bodies. In to apply the forecheck as Bible moves up the right wing side, gets an assist and banging it all the way down. And this is going to be an icing call with 3:01 gone in the scoreless first.
Brian, on that last face-off deep in the UMD zone, we saw one of UMD's signature sort of trick plays. They tried to pull it off there. It didn't exactly work, but what they tried to do is as soon as they won the draw, one of the players would skate directly to the bench. Meanwhile, one of their other players would try to jump out and get a break there going the other way. Didn't exactly work, but it's one thing that Shannon Miller is sort of famous for, spends a lot of time on the face-off plays.
Minnesota native Angie Keesley tips it up the right wing side. Couldn't get it past Tuomanen along the blue line. Back to get it now, Emily Morris. Morris, near side of her own end. Short distance pass, feeds the speedy Erica Lawler. Lawler threads to Jasmine Giles, and Giles at the edge of the circle blasts away with a shot that's blocked by the skates of Rasmussen. Down low, it's Keesley. Keesley looking to play make, sweeps into the far ring. Hands off to the pinching defenseman. It's Slusser. Slusser averaging a point per game in her senior season, coming off the first-team All-America selection a year ago with a 40-point campaign. And far side is Rasmussen again for the Bulldogs. Tucking it up left wing to DeMule. DeMule stood up along the blue line, taken back by Zog, who's right back out there, feeding Duggan. Duggan slips a check, gets between the circles, dips around a defender, ridden down, but the puck sails wide. On the far side, here's Bible trying to take one from long range. That's blocked away by Homelove, and here's Lonzo with speed up right wing, losing on the poke check as he hit the Wisconsin blue line. It's Mickelson restoring order for the Badger defense. 4:15 gone in the first period, still no score. That should come as no surprise. These teams have not lit up the score sheet in their 3 meetings thus far this year. Bouncing puck through center, gathered by Jill Sales, who bats it right back to the Badger blue line, taken by Mickelson. Up right wing goes Megan Duggan. Duggan deep to the zone, trying to center to Bauer, who tipped it up high. Puck skips to the near side wall. Hansen gets a touch there. Bauer still spinning with it in the corner. Doesn't have an outlet, taken by Alonso, and it's tipped out of the zone by Subi Vacker. Tyler Sanders back to Rachel Bible, does a pirouette in her own end. Banks it off the near side wall. Aaron Olson over skates at center, taken by Hansen, and Hansen on the backhand gets the dump down for the Badgers. Sales wrapping it around far side, looking for Vacker, sandwiched in the corner by a couple of Badger players. 2-on-2 scrap continues. Neither team with the advantage. And finally we get the whistle with 5:10 gone in the first, still looking for the first goal.
Quite a play by Duggan there, dancing around one of the UMD defensemen. It was actually Michaela Alonso came back and kind of caught Duggan off balance, and the Wisconsin bench was looking for a penalty there, but could have been called. Maybe it might be a sign of things to come, and that they're just going to let them play tonight, bang each other around. Very
few penalties in the game last night, although that tying goal for UMD was a 6-on-4 power play tally in the final minute of regulation. Emily Morris back at her own end on the far side. D to Alicia Matthews. Matthews on the headman. Too far for the intended receiver, Emily Kranz. And now Schäuble will cover it up to be safe as Tia Hansen was in the vicinity.
We're seeing a little bit, I think UMD is taking more of a passive approach here, more of a conservative game for them, more so than they're used to playing. As Shannon Miller said, they're just kind of looking to survive here these couple days, and they've backed off a little bit on their penalty kill, backed off on their in-zone pressure.
As you alluded to, much by necessity with all the injuries, so it'll be interesting to see how they try to regulate tempo. Talking to Mark Johnson this week, and he said they are aware of the situation and said that his goal is to play high-tempo hockey for 120 minutes and see if that can't be a factor by weekend's end. Far side, it's DeMule on the red line, chopping it into the zone. DeFore takes a wave at it, pushes it to the near corner. Slusser on it there. Ladles it ahead, looking for Lawler. Slusser gets another whack and pushes it out to the red line. Taken now by Giles, and Giles pushes deep to the corner for the Badgers as they go for a change. Ashley Wagner, senior transfer from Northeastern. Feeds Rasmussen out of the zone. Tuomanen stepping after, but Slusser gets the first touch. The bouncing puck reaches the UMD blue line, but there are Badgers trapped off sides, and so Wagner turns it back to neutral ice. Zog on the handoff to Bauer, who tries to lay it ahead to Duggan. That's taken instead by Homelove, and Homelove on the far side. Leaves back in turn to Rasmussen behind the net of Rita Schäuble, as Wagner now tucks it around the wall to Lonzo. Pressure applied by the Bauer line. Wagner's in some trouble in the near circle. Bauer, a nice drop pass to Duggan, trying to go backdoor to Zog, and it went through her stick. Marin was back checking. Zog fishing forward in the corner, pushes behind the cage, and Bauer's tracking it along with Wagner there. Extra shift again for this Wisconsin top unit as Duggan diagonals out to the point. A wrist shot through traffic goes well wide.
Duggan on the near side trying to use her size against Martin. Hands it off to Bauer in the corner. And the reigning Kazmaier Award winner is on pace for a career offensive year yet again. Feeds Duggan along the half wall as Zog tips it to the front. And Schroedman will fall harmlessly on top of it.
A decent little chance there by the Badgers. Ashley Wagner, as you mentioned, the senior, got kind of tangled up, and very, very rare turnover in the defensive zone by Wagner. She's one of those players who are strong and steady. If you don't notice her, that's when she's playing her best games.
Off the draw, Peltery matched up with Phoebe Monteleone behind the net. Tawny Madela back down low to help out as well. Erin Olsen providing the outlet on the near side, and UMD escapes their own end. Emily Morris taking it over at her own blue line, rotating it to the right wing side as Monteleone fetters it on into the zone. Madela bumped off her skates in the near corner. Both teams tussling for it there. 7.5 gone in the first period here in Duluth, Minnesota. Again, apologize for the technical difficulties on the video side, but the archive is working at least. As Olsen pushes on ahead, trying to hit Vacker through center, who did get a piece, so no icing. Morris speeding back to play at far side of her own end. Slusser there as well. And Bobby Joe emerges with the puck. On the near side, Heidi Klutzian. Klutzian played the puck with a high stick, so that'll get another stoppage. And I would imagine, Angie, on a night like tonight where UMB is trying to regulate tempo, extra whistles are probably to their advantage.
Yeah, they're not too bummed about the extra little breaks there. The line we just saw on the ice, Tawny Madela, Erin Olsen, and Suvi Vacker just kind of thrown together. Suvi, a native of Finland and a natural defenseman, but with all these injuries, she was asked to play defense. She just kind of said, Coach, where do you want me? Where can I help? And Shannon Miller has been very pleased with the energy that she brings up front there for the Bulldogs.
Jasmine Giles on the right wing side, one of several talented freshmen on this Badger squad, forces her way down deep to the zone, lofts her edge, gets help though from Keesley. Keesley tussling with Tuominen in the far side, trying to find an outlet up top. The bouncing puck though tipped by Emmanuel Blay out of the zone. Right wing side, here comes DeMule. DeMule back to Blay. Space opens up in the Badger defensive end. Blay on the backhand, in front, DeMule, the follow, and the save by Dufour as Tuominen was crashing. Good effort by this line of DeMule, Blay, and Tuominen there. All three involved on that sequence, but Dufour with the save. Another save in front as DeMule came bidding again. Bulldogs buzzing here on the recent shifts, and Megan Nicholson trying to use her excellent skating ability to get out of harm's way. Does gain center ice and lobs deep. Near side, just inside the UMD end. Lonzel has it goes through her stick. Sanders trying to step back down low for it. Wrapped around far side through Wagner's blade, and now Tia Hansen. Couldn't get around Wagner on the far side. Bumped off the wall. Wrist shot taken from long range. Bounces in on Schroedman, who pads it away. Wagner leaves it on the bump for Rasmussen, who fumbles it. Is loose by the cage. Schroedman didn't see it for a moment as Kranz was in the vicinity. And a nervous moment for the UMD team as they finally get the clear. And at center, it's Bible near side of Matthews. So some opportunities for both teams here as UMD its best sustained offensive sequence. Ellen Holmlove chops it off the wall and down. Not far enough for an icing as we come up on the midway point of a scoreless first period. Matthews slams on the brakes with Erin Olsen, shadowing her step for step. Hands off to Bible, comes around the net on the near side. Tia Hansen has it roll through her stick, and Peltery flops it toward goal as Madela will give chase in the corner. Madela losing on the poke check to Hansen. Hansen wrapping it down low. It's taken by Erin Olsen for the home team. Olsen on the backhand fields Peltery. A few steps inside the blue line, looking for a tip in front. It was blocked away by a Badger defender and pushed on ahead. Here comes Sanders on the right wing side. She'll lob in on goal. Schroedman easily sticks it, and Peltery on the turnabout feeds Erin Olsen, who finesses on ahead. Peltery on right wing gains the Badger line. Bauer unit is back out there. As Slusser rockets around the cage, she's disrupted and turns the puck over to DeMule, but Bauer immediately recovers and takes back for the Badgers. Pushed out to center ice and sent on down by Duggan, but right to the stick of Jill Sales, and on the quick rotation, it bounces off Sarah's woman and stick at center. Peltery on the backhand, tip to the red line. Blay reaching for it, along with Morris on the near side of the Badgers zone. Morris going backwards with the puck as Slusser winds it around to Duggan. Duggan got a piece, did not get the clear, pinballing puck on the far side. DeMule gets a handle on it and pushes it back to the corner. Taken by Slusser one more time. This time she'll try the left wing side on the breakout. And diagonals on ahead where it's intercepted by Sarah Murray. And Murray pushes it right back down with 9 minutes to go in the first. Slapped around near side. Bauer restores order. Her headman pass for Duggan, chipped away by Murray. For the moment, UMD doing a good job of closing off the passing lanes. On the far side, the action ensues by the Badger bench. Finally dug free by Homelove. Sent on through to Martin. Martin will give chase against Sluice. The two number 10s get together in the corner. Martin trying to bank it out to the point. Hit the referee in the skates. Martin, though, gets it back. In turn, dispossessed by Zog. Wrist shot by Trepanier from long range. And Sluicer put a stick in the way of that as Bauer turns it off the wall to the red line. Lonzel on the touch pass to Martin at the end of their shift. And they'll get the puck deep one more time as the home crowd approves. And Jasmine Giles skates it up right wing the other way, trying to move through traffic. Giles will get the call as she kept the legs moving. And a hold will be the first minor penalty of the evening. We'll see an excellent 30% Badger power play go to work for the first time.
Ashley Wagner there, defenseman for the Bulldog, just got her stick up, and Giles, you got to give her credit. They say if you keep your feet moving, it's either going to draw penalties or create scoring opportunities. And there she drew a penalty. If she just would have stopped working, there's no penalty. But here we go, Badgers on the power play.
Hammering around the wall, puck pops high in the air, drops in the circle to Tuomanen. Tipped off her stick, but right to Karin DeMule, and DeMule sends it all the way down as Dufour reaches with it and hands off to Mickelson. Mickelson, the nation's leading scorer at the defensive position, having a career year in all categories. Perhaps somewhat ironic as she started her career as a forward. Tuomanen down low behind her own net, slips the first level, and she's got room to work with shorthanded, moving up 1-on-2. Tuomanen with speed on the right wing, trying to protect against Mickelson. Mickelson using her reach to bother her just enough, and now Tuomanen just content to kill off some time amidst a trio of a Badger power play participants. A minute 15 for them to work with on the Wagner minor as Keesley drops it into the zone.
Well, so far the Badgers not being able to set up at all, but last night they had a couple different looks. One that probably gave them the most opportunities was they were trying to create 2-on-1s down low, kind of pick on that lower defender and create the 2-on-1, then step to the net. If UMD
play from long range on a shorthanded offering, put a good charge into that one, but sent it just wide. And Bauer trying to take a deep breath behind her own cage with 40 seconds to work with, and the Badgers yet to set up. UMD looking effective thus far on the 4-on-5. Here's Sluicer, though, through center, getting it to Zog. Zog using that 6'1" frame to move down low. Handing off to Bauer, and now they are set up. Bauer in the ring, between the circles, Duggan down low, Zog, try to power it in front. Bauer on the follow. Schweblin got that one. Down low, it's Zog, right back to Bauer. Bauer has plenty of space, drags it for a shot. Schweblin swatted that away. Duggan came up empty on the follow, and Blay gets the clear.
Rita Schweblin, some huge saves down low there. Badgers, those are the players you want around the net with the puck on their sticks, and Schweblin stymied them.
Sluicer right back to the attack. Penalty just about over. Sluicer maneuvers to the corner, uses the outlet, and Zog right behind her at the half circle. Janelle Zog, 20 goals on the season, moves behind the net, trying to center, caught the side of the cage. There's a hand pass in front. Maybe that puck was actually hand closed on top of the puck, so we'll get the whistle for a stoppage. 5:51 to go in the first period. A couple of good chances for Megan Duggan in particular, but still nothing.
Yeah, a couple good whacks at it there, and if you're a Bulldog fan, you have to be pleased so far with what you've seen from Rita Schweblin. Just looks strong, looks confident back there.
Nicholson off the draw, has space to let fly, and got a tip that went high and wide over the glass. Nicholson with 8 goals on the season. I think the other thing that I've been waiting to see that's been pretty impressive from a UMD standpoint is they still have pretty good jumps, considering they played 65 minutes against Wisconsin, and they are still shorthanded.
Yes, absolutely. Towards the end of the game, in the overtime there, they did look a little bit slow, but they're college athletes. They're in great shape, and
here comes Lonzel in great shape, and she's on a breakaway. Lonzel behind the defense, and Dufour makes the fine blocker save. Lonzel with burner speed. She got loose. A rare breakdown by that Badger defense.
Right off the face-off there.
You called it. She was basically, the minute that draw was taken, she was speeding up ice, waiting for an outlet pass, and got between the defenders, but Dufour made her finest stop of the evening to preserve the 0-0 deadlock. And good goaltending has been a theme on both sides of this rivalry thus far this season. Mentioned the most goals these two teams have combined for in any one game is 2. DeMule along the red line, Moves into the zone on right wing. Forehand shot. Awkward save. Rebound by Blade. Dufour's got that. It's loose outside the crease. A big melee. And on the doorstep, here comes Wagner on the follow. Rasmussen pushing it. I'm not sure the whistle ever really did blow, but now the players are all going to have to be separated. That might be one of those rare circumstances where 11 of the 12 players on the ice were in about a 5-foot box all
right
together.
Right on the crease. I was just going to say that. I don't think I've ever seen that before, and I never heard a whistle, but the puck was definitely loose there. They got a couple good whacks at it.
Badgers doing a nice job of forming a wall in front of Dufour, and UMD sending waves of attack, trying to push the puck over the line. Here in transition is Sanders, but the rolling puck not able to settle down for her. DeMule pushes it behind the cage. Sanders right back on it, backhands it in front. A thicket of sticks, and miraculously no one got a touch. Worked back to the corner now to Hansen with 4.5 to go in the first period. Still scoreless, but not for lack of effort or chances thus far. Tuomainen tripped up down low. There's a call on the Badgers. And reaching for it on the far side for the touch-up is Emily Kranz, and now we'll see the Minnesota-Duluth power play for the first time tonight.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what we see here. I think we're going to try to see Elin Homelov, the native of Sweden. As you mentioned earlier, she's been slowed a little bit this year by a back injury, and I'm not sure that we've seen the what she's capable of yet this year. She's drawing comparisons to Maria Ruth in terms of her hands and her speed. But she's one of the players that the Bulldog coaching staff are really looking to really lead this team in the future.
Homelove's back troubles preventing her from participating in Team Sweden's run to a silver medal in the Torino Games in 2006. Despite the problem, still averaging a point per game on the season, not too shabby. As Sales puts it down low, Badgers aggressive on the kill, and one of the best marks of Mark Johnson's team, so disciplined. Always among the least penalized teams in the country, take just over 4 minors per game. As Noemi Martin runs right into the official trying to get into the zone. Gets help though from Peltery. Martin then trips over Jay Mendel once again as he is very much involved. As Martin finally retreats back to center ice to reset and finds Sales on the left wing side. Jill Sales to the attack with 1:12 to go on the first 5-on-4 of the night for UMD. Martin outside the near ring. Feeds Peltery up top. Stick is cocked, doesn't shoot. Far side to Sales, back to Peltery. Wristed toward goal, tip is applied, and Dufour makes a nice pad save as Homelove and Lonzo were both camped out between the shot and the net. Schäuble rotates it up to Tuomainen just on. Tuomainen spinning away from the penalty-killing Sarah Bauer. The backhand pass hits off Jasmine Giles. That lets Sluicer get a touch to it. She rolls it back to the UMD end, where Madeline picks up, fans on her pass attempt, but completes it to Tuomainen anyway. And UMD gets it deep with 35 seconds to work with, and under 3 to go in the first. Still scoreless here at the Duluth Entertainment and Convention Center. Far side, Rasmussen down low to Tuomainen. Kick back out to Rasmussen. Steps into a drive with traffic in front. Intercepted by Giles. She steps away from traffic and moves through center with speed. Jasmine Giles over the line, finessing her way deep to the corner. Met by Rasmussen there. Tips it away to the stick of Madeline. Madeline on the forehand, rotates it rink wide, but the pass was telegraphed and intercepted as Morris tried to bat it toward goal. Rasmussen recovers and intercepts, but the penalty just about over, so both teams' kills coming through nicely as Rasmussen pushes on ahead out at even strength. Left wing, it's Homelove. Between the circles, Lonzo with a drive, back-checking with Sanders to bother the shot, and Sluicer picks it up near corner. Trying to tap it to Bauer. Lonzo gets in the way of that. Bauer now gets to it in the corner. Rotates it to the far side. Wagner hacks it. Quick shot taken. Bad save Dufour, who's been sharp in this first period. Sarah Murray along the blue line to Homelove outside the ring. Homelove right back to Murray. Murray off the wall neatly to Marin. Noemi Marin protecting against Bauer in the corner. Bauer cancels her out for the moment. Marin still has on the forehand. Deals it up top to Murray. Murray with a drive, and that one sails wide of the near post with 1:45 to go in the period. Good pressure still for the Bulldogs 5-on-5 as Marin tries to stuff it in front and then bats it wide of the far post on the follow. Far side, it's Wagner. Wagner keeping it down in the corner as Marin gives chase against Sluicer. Now to Klutzian, and Klutzian gives the Badgers a much-needed clear. Madeline far side, Wagner, and Wagner looks like she's about done with her shift as she puts it deep. Madeline gets there first. Good hustle from the Duluth native. It's a little bit of a pick from Vacher as she tried to center. Players go down. Peltery holds the line for a drive, and Dufour catches it up high and holds on.
Dufour was a little bit nervous on that one, perhaps thinking of last night when there was a shot the goal that tied it up, it was kind of a shot up high, and then goalie juggled it, and Noemi Marin was just able to get her stick on it and put it away.
Rare are the times where teams are able to sustain that kind of pressure and have Wisconsin playing that much defense, but such has been the case with that power play and then his shift right after. Still nothing though, thanks to Dufour. And a bend but don't break Badger defense. Here's Lawler trying to attack. Nice handoff. Duggan, wrist shot, she scores! Duggan and Lawler, the warm-time line mates from high school, and now playing together a bit here in college as Duggan snaps home her 20th, and just like that, it's 1-0 Wisconsin.
That was quite a play by the Badgers there, bringing it up the ice, and what a shot. I mean, you know, Rita Schäuble couldn't do much about that one. Just perfectly placed it right up over the glove hand there. Kind of got her leaning towards the stick side and roofed it glove hand side.
So Duggan and Lawler for the moment reunited, in large part because Bauer was trapped out for that elongated shift at the end of the penalty kill. And so it is Lawler setting up one of her best friends. And Megan Duggan showing the scoring touch that has produced now 20 goals in her freshman season. Beautiful finish to the top corner. A tough sequence for Duluth there to play so well and sustain so much pressure. And then in the blink of an eye, a transition chance at the other end results in the game's first goal coming off the stick of Megan Duggan. Wrist shot by Zog, bothered, and that one goes out of play with 29.4 on the clock.
This has got to be a big lift for the Badgers here. You know, you never like to allow a goal in the last minute of play. And on the reverse side, it's always a little shot in the arm there when you get a goal in the last minute. So they got to be feeling good about this.
Off the draw, Matthews' wrist shot did not go through the wall of defenders in front. You'll hear from both head coaches, Mark Johnson and Shannon Miller, coming up in the first intermission. 19 seconds on the clock as the puck rolls free behind the net, and Wagner chips it around to Emmanuel Blay. Blay head manning for Tuomanen, trying to get it on to DeMule. Broken up by Hansen, and now it's Jamie Rasmussen. Rasmussen sending it over the line. Morris Didi to Matthews. Matthews to Sanders. Sanders puts it into the zone, and that's going to just about do it for the first period. So a good effort from both teams, some good saves, some good shots at both ends. But Megan Duggan's 20th on a beautiful wrister to the top corner is the only goal we have on the board thus far after one. It's Wisconsin 1 and Minnesota-Duluth 0.